Let's be real for a moment. Marriage can be beautiful, but it can also feel heavy, not because you don't love each other, not because you chose the wrong person, but because life gets hectic, as a result of stress, bills, parenting, expectations, unmet expectations, exhaustion, and suddenly you're arguing more than you're connecting with your spouse. If you ever thought, why does it feel like my spouse and I are on opposite teams? This conversation is for you. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop fighting your spouse and learn how to fight with them. Because marriage isn't about winning arguments, it's about protecting the connection. My name is Faye. I've been married for 29 years and I have been in the same relationship for over 30 years. And too often we have found, at least in our marriage, that sometimes we forget we're not the enemy, but there is an enemy that is trying to draw a wedge between us. And sometimes that wedge is caused by a lack of communication or not the most effective communication. So, one of the biggest mistakes couples make during conflict is confusing communication with venting. That's number one. Venting says, I need to get this off my chest. I need to be heard right now. Yet communication says, I want us to understand each other. I want us to move toward healing. When marriage feels heavy, words can quickly turn into weapons. And we know that there is power in the tongue. And it's either we're going to speak words of life or words of death. So here's a powerful shift: speak to be understood, not to be right. That means lowering our tone when emotions rise, using I feel instead of you always, pausing before responding instead of reacting. Proverbs 15:1 reminds us a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Gentle doesn't mean weak, and gentle means intentional. Ask yourself during a conflict, is what I'm about to say building a bridge or burning one? And even when we're communicating, we need to make sure that we are listening to understand and not listening to respond. Here's the truth: no one talks about enough. Conflict doesn't damage marriages, disconnection does. What really hurts isn't the argument itself, it's the silence after. The cold shoulders, the emotional distance. Yet, healthy couples don't avoid conflict, they repair quickly. Reconnection looks like owning our part without defensiveness, saying, I didn't handle that well, reaching out even when our pride wants to cause us to be standoffish or to remain silent. But really, in essence, what we want to do is to run to one another in the midst of that time. You don't need a perfect apology. None of us need a perfect apology. We just need a sincere one. And we just need to know that we're being heard. And Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. We're not each other's enemies, but we should be each other's partners, even on the hard days. Sometimes reconnection is a conversation, sometimes it's a hug, and sometimes it's simply choosing closeness over control. One sure thing is, even in the midst of the awkwardness, we need to come together and pray, because praying together can bring about peace, cause us to let go and let the defensiveness fade, to allow our perspectives to shift and to let our pride soften. So, prayer isn't having the right words. It's about just inviting God into the space where tension lives so that He can give both individuals peace that surpasses all understanding. Matthew 18:20 says, "For where two or three gather in my name, there am I with them." Even a simple prayer like, God, help us listen. God, help us love better. God, help us remember why we chose each other. And prayer reminds us that the real enemy isn't our spouse. It's stress, it's fear, it's exhaustion, it's unmet expectations. And you don't have to fight those things alone because God is with us every step of the way. He said that He would never leave us nor forsaken us. Plus, He's given us our grace gift to do life with us. Stress changes people. It shortens patience, it heightens sensitivity, it magnifies small issues, and often the person closest to us becomes the one who feels it the most. Loving your spouse through stress means extending grace when they're not at their best, offering support instead of criticism, remembering that pressure reveals, not defines character. Galatians 6:2 tells us, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. So sometimes love looks like doing more when they're overwhelmed, listening without trying to fix, choosing compassion over assumptions. Marriage isn't always 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes it's 100-0. And that's okay because seasons change. I remember studying for cybersecurity, and I was just eating and breathing cybersecurity. And so I would go to work, I would come home, and pretty much I didn't have the energy to cook, to clean. I was just so focused on that and trying to pass this test. So my husband picked up the slack and he cooked and he cleaned and allowed me to just focus during that time. But it's seasons. You cover one another however each other needs to be covered. So, in closing, if marriage feels heavy right now, hear this. Heavy doesn't mean hopeless. It means you're human. It means life is stretching you. It means growth is happening, whether you see it or not. Fight for each other, fight with each other, and let love be louder than frustration. If this spoke to you, share it with someone who needs encouragement today. And remember, you're not failing at marriage, you're learning how to love deeper. If any of this information was helpful, please hit that like button, hit subscribe so that you will know when I drop another video. And I just want to say thank you for your time. Be blessed and know that nothing is impossible with Christ. You can get through it.